So welcome everyone to the Strive and Thrive in 2025 presented by Bite-Sized Brilliance. We are so excited to see you here live this evening, woo, in the middle of a snowstorm for some people. So here's how this is going to go. If you have questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We will get to them if we can at the end. Otherwise, we're going to capture the chat and make sure that your questions are answered. If you could help us out by indicating either what the session is or who the speaker is so that we know which question goes to which person, that would be super helpful. Each speaker will introduce themselves and we'll switch sharing of the screens between speakers, so there'll be a little pause between each person. So without further ado, let me stop sharing and I'm going to hand the mic over to my friend Jen.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. As Catherine said, we are so excited that you're here today. I'm Jen Landis. I am a C-suite executive who made the decision last year to pivot out of corporate life so that I could pursue other dreams, one of which is to help people achieve their career ambitions, just like the many people who helped me achieve mine. So my new self-appointed job is to help professionals figure out how to expand their reach so that they can achieve that next level of success and that next promotion. And then the one after that, and the one after that, until they've achieved their professional ambitions and have built a career they love with the additional income, impact, and joy that come with it. So, with that backdrop, today I'm going to spend my time talking with you about setting your intentions for success in 2025. And we're going to do that by picking a word and writing a customized affirmation you can use daily to focus your intentions and really guide your actions. To make that process easier, we're going to hack it. We're going to use some AI scripts and put AI to work for us. That said, I do realize that not everyone's comfortable with AI. So in the bonus materials at the end of the session, there's actually two versions of this exercise provided for you, one that has AI scripts and one that doesn't. They both lead to the same place. So with that, let's jump into it. I'd like you, if you would, imagine for a moment that it's January 2nd, 2025. Your alarm goes off. You roll out of bed, you stumble into your bathroom, and you're standing at the sink contemplating the day, and you catch your glimpse in the mirror. Freeze frame. What do you see? What are you thinking in that moment? How are you feeling about the day? What's going through your head? How are you planning on showing up for yourself, for your family, for the people that you serve? Now revisit that scene again. See the same thing happening, but this time when you catch your reflection, I want you to see a sparkle in your eyes. I want your resolve to stiffen your spine, and I want your veins to be flooded with an absolute conviction that today you're going to be fueled by purpose and you're going to show up for yourself and others in the way that you want to. I know it sounds simple. It sounds deceptively simple, this idea of picking a word in an affirmation, but it's a powerful mindset tool. And it's a tool that's carried me through some of my most challenging professional seasons. I've learned through this that we are often attracted to complicated solutions because, after all, our problems are complicated. But what we really need most of the time in those situations is simple solutions that are consistently applied. So we're going to jump into a simple solution. Yes, we're going to journal. And for those of you that saw journal and you immediately started groaning, I hear you. I've been there. I'm sometimes still there. But the fact of the matter is that it's really hard to focus your intention if you're unclear about what you want to accomplish and why, or if you're just unable to articulate it. So we've got to dive below the surface to gain deeper insights and to generate ideas if we're going to create a word and a mantra or affirmation that really drive us. So we're going to ask AI to create some journaling prompts. Why make this harder for ourselves than we need to? Let's use AI to do that for us. So I'm asking AI to create 10 prompts to help me set my intention based on what I want to accomplish, how I want to approach it, and why it's important to me. I like to use multiple AI tools. And so I used Google Gemini, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. I don't expect you to read this, it's going to be word soup on your screen, but I just want you to see that it gave me a bunch of different prompts. So I grabbed these documents, my favorite thinking beverage, headed to my favorite thinking spot, and I sat down and I started journaling. I knew that I was going to use AI again, so I didn't journal with handwritten. Instead, I decided to verbally journal using the Notes app on my phone so that I could then copy and paste my journaling notes into the next AI prompt. Because again, let's make this as easy for ourselves as we can. So here's the next AI prompt. We're actually going to ask AI to help us synthesize our journaling by pulling out words that meet criteria. Specifically, I asked it for 10 aspirational or inspirational verbs and adjectives that focus behaviors on goal achievement. So here we go again. This is what my 3 AI tools provided for me. It's not bad. I've highlighted some of the ones that I really liked in each of them. I thought there were some interesting, provoking words that resonated with me. And after looking through all of them, I decided I'm going to go with the word cultivate. It just really hit the spot for me. So now I've got my word. Let's go back to AI and let's write a personalized affirmation. Here I'm telling AI very specifically, I want 5 options. Give me 5 versions because this affirmation is going to provide context and meaning that's going to help me set my intention. So I want options to make sure I'm picking the right one. So give me 5 versions of a 2-sentence affirmation that supports my verb cultivate. And it's got to meet a couple of other criteria. One, I want it to obviously include the word cultivate in my affirmation. It also has to be inspirational, aspirational, and encouraging. It's got to help light my fire in the morning. It's got to be biased towards action. And I want it to be in the present tense. This is not something I'm going to be in the future. It's something I'm claiming for today. This is what I'm doing today. So I ran it through my 3 AI engines again. And again, you've got word soup on your screen, but here's the one that I picked. I really liked it. I cultivate meaningful relationships and opportunities by showing up fully prepared, poised, and confident. My commitment to growth for myself and others inspires me to take bold, faith-filled steps forward. I thought ChatGPT did a pretty good job on this, actually. I only had to add what you see there in white for myself and others. And you're going to need to do the same. You will need to tweak yours because you really want this affirmation to be something that you like, something you look forward to saying, something that will help you focus your efforts in a meaningful way, and hopefully over time that you can memorize. Because our last step, we got to use it. We have to put it to get to work for us. So let's revisit that early morning scene on January 2nd. Now, when you catch your reflection in that mirror, I want you to say your word and your affirmation out loud with gusto, like you were giving a pep talk to your best friend. And then, if you really want to have fun with it, end it with a little Mel Robbins high five habit by giving yourself a high five in the mirror. Or maybe it's a thumbs up or a round of applause. Maybe it's a bicep flex or a power pose, whatever it is. Have some fun with it. At that point, it's just you alone by yourself in the bathroom, talking to a really good friend in the mirror that you want to be successful. And when you start every day like this, you are going to find that you naturally stand taller when you catch your eye first thing in the morning. You're going to be smiling. You might even be chuckling at your antics, and you will naturally evaluate your performance from yesterday. How did you do? Did you live in a way that cultivated those opportunities? And if you didn't, because you're human, guess what? It's a new day. You can wipe the fog off that mirror and you can start over again. If you stick with this simple practice, I promise you, you will be amazed by what you accomplish by the end of 2025. So I'm encouraging you, start today. Don't wait. Start doing this now. Look for your word right now. We've got some incredible speakers who are still on the roster who are going to be inspiring you, giving you tips and wisdom and lots of really, really interesting words. Write them down, see what resonates with you. Finally, man, I'd love to connect with you on social media. Let me know how it's going for you. If you're willing, share your word and your affirmation with me. There's no reason we have to do this by ourselves. We can do this together because together we can totally strive and thrive in 2025. So, with that, I'm going to hand it back to Catherine. Catherine, thank you.
Wow. Okay. How do I follow that? I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to share my screen. So I'm Catherine Robinette with Keystone and Raven. I'm your guide to making meaningful change in the workplace, but beginning with making change for yourself. Let's take a step back and think about what might be coming in the next 12 to 18 months. I want you to go ahead and throw numbers in the chat. Are you expecting that you're going to experience any of these things in the next 12 to 18 months? Maybe new responsibilities or a leadership transition for your company or your department. How about a major software adoption, like a change in your CRM or your ESP? Maybe a remote or hybrid policy adoption or a change in that policy. How about a merger or acquisition? Organizational restructure or department restructure? Maybe a new geographic location for your company or for yourself. Maybe you're going to try a different job, either a promotion or move to another company, or maybe you're transitioning into retirement. How about a family structure change, like a marriage or a birth or an adoption? Or maybe, just maybe, a milestone birthday. Go ahead and throw numbers in the chat. Okay, so I did a little research before we all got together today, and the business analysts, futurists, and sociologists that I follow say that everyone will experience up to 3 of these in the next 12 to 18 months. And it's cyclical. Every 12 to 18 months, you will experience up to 3 of these big major changes. That's a lot of change and distraction. So if we think that we can just make a list of our goals and have them happen, that isn't going to work. You have to do something different, do something more in order to have them be tangible and actionable. And that's called targeting your goals. I'm going to teach you a brain hack on how to make this happen, and it takes about 20 minutes. First of all, I want you to answer this question. You're going to journal it. You could collage it, though that would take more than 20 minutes. Doodle it. Um, Talk to somebody about it. And it is, what will success look like? You need to define it with such clarity that your subconscious mind will continue to look for what you need to help you get there, even while you're working on those other distractions, those other items that are going to be coming up in the next 12 to 18 months. Whatever you want to accomplish, to have success, you must maintain momentum and motivation. So visualize this. Here's the key. And Jen said this also. You need to answer it as if it has already happened. Spend 5 to 6 minutes on this. You may want to you may want to set a timer, but you need sort of a quick and yet immersive experience as you answer this question. The next question is, how will your day-to-day experience improve? Again, journal it, collage it, visualize it, doodle it, as if it has already happened. What does your morning routine look like? Or what does your work environment look like? Heck, what does your job look like? What is better, different, and beneficial because you achieved this goal? Again, another 5 to 6 minutes. Then ask yourself this question: what is the most exciting part of the goal? Because you can get momentum from the other two, you get motivation from this one. What are you most looking forward to? What is the one thing that'll get you up in the morning and start working towards this goal, or that fills you with joy, or just makes you smile when you think about it? The more detailed you can be in your answer, the better. Your brain craves the thing that you want. So you want to want this with a passion. Don't want it with desperation, because you'll get something different, but want it with joy. Stay focused on how you will feel when you've achieved this goal, right? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be content? Are you going to be proud? Are you going to be more connected? Are you going to be ready for more? 5 to 6 minutes, quick, deep immersion. The next part of the brain hack is hard, and this is where people stumble. You need to actually talk about your goal with other people. Now that you have articulated it in tangible detail about your day-to-day experience that's going to change when you reach the goal, and in evocative language about how you're going to feel when you get there, you should have a rich vocabulary to draw from. Or you could use the ChatGPT and AI tips that Jen just gave you to help you cultivate those answers. Cultivate. Two things happen in your brain when you do this. One, your brain says, oh, you're really serious about this. You're talking about this with other people. Okay, I'm going to start working on it. And you will suddenly start seeing and hearing messages that are in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish. It's a little like having a conversation with your friend when your phone is nearby. And oh, you can't even see it. When your phone is nearby. And the next day, ads start popping up in your feed that relate to the conversation you just had with your friend. Your brain works the same way. If you talk about it, your brain thinks you're serious about it. The other thing that happens is you will hardwire other people's brains to help you succeed in your goal. If they have any interest in you or in the outcomes that you're describing, they will start bringing you advice and resources and support in support of the goal that you're trying to achieve. The more detailed you can be, the better that you can articulate what you need at any point in the journey, the better your brain will provide the resources that you need, and the better the resources your friends will bring to you. It only works because you got crystal clarity about your goal in terms that resonate with you and with others. The detail matters. The detail matters because you can only achieve what you can describe. You have to go, sorry, you have 2 minutes left. So if you've done the other three questions and given yourself about 6 minutes for each question, you should have 2 minutes left. And this is where the AI prompts that Jen just talked about would really come in handy. Now you need to write your goal statement. So this is the answer to whatever anybody says, so what are you working on this year? Or what's your New Year's resolution? Have the statement ready, as detailed as you can make it, but also brief, so that they have crystal clarity with you about what you're trying to accomplish. It's a way of quickly accessing that goal whenever you need it, whenever you need the little motivation boost. If you want to make the most of out of your intentions, you have to go from making a list to having a target so that all of your actions have a trajectory. Because a clear target turns action into impact. I'm Catherine Robinette with Keystone and Raven, and now I would like to stop sharing my screen and I will hand the floor over to my friend Karen.
Thank you, Catherine. That was really great and so practical. That's just fantastic. And it sounds like I really need to start talking to my brain as yet another friend. That's fabulous. So, hello, I'm Carolyn Kaplan. I'm a keynote speaker, executive coach, and organizational consultant. I've worked with the business sector, government, and not-for-profit, both here in the US and overseas quite a bit. I really focused in creating actionable clarity out of complexity, connecting strategy and execution, and leading through change. I'm really excited to connect with all of you today about this idea of collaborating and working together and what a game changer it can be. So when we say, no thanks, I got it, why are we refusing help from others? Sometimes, of course, assistance isn't necessary. And other times it can be incredibly helpful and valuable. So when we say no thanks, I wonder, is it because we think that our success may be diminished somehow if we are not crossing the finish line solo? We aren't doing it all by ourselves? Are we worried that we may lose some independence or sense of self? I will admit, I've had all these thoughts and made decisions accordingly. The problem is that we all know that we can together go farther and faster. And this is definitely not an original thought for me. This is a long-running concept, and in just about every culture, if not every culture around the world. I have a few proverbs up here on the screen. I'm sure you've seen at least some of them. But we really, really know the value of teamwork and of collaborating. So let's spend a few minutes today digging into this and really wondering and thinking about why we say no thanks sometimes and what we might be missing when we do so. I was backpacking across Asia with a friend. When we got to Tibet, instead, we were in central Tibet. Instead of taking a right east towards Lhasa, the capital, we decided to take a left and hitchhike to far western Tibet to go see and experience Mount Kailash, the most sacred mountain in Asia. They say that if you lay your eyes on Mount Kailash, you are blessed. So I'm not sure if it works in a virtual setting like this, but let's go for it and just assume. They also say that if you walk around Mount Kailash, which includes going through a pass at 18,500 feet, that you have absolved your sins for a lifetime. So my friends, we decided to do just that. After we had done that, we were back at the base of Mount Kailash, looking for our next ride back to return to the center of Tibet. Now, there weren't that many Western tourists there, but the ones who were there, everyone except for us were there with a trekking outfit. So we stuck out a little bit. Tenzing, one of the trekking guides, approached us one day and kind of wondered, hey, what are you doing here? And, how are you doing it? And probably he thought, why are you doing this by yourself? We said, oh, we're good. We're looking for our next ride, our next truck back. We're going to take the south road this time because it's shorter. We took the north on the way here. We want to do something different. He said, okay, well, you know that it's quite hard to resupply along this less traveled route. We said, yep, we've got some ramen noodles. We'll be fine. He gave us a look and then asked if he could give us some food to take on our journey. We said, no, thanks, we got it. Why did we do that? He was a lovely gentleman trying to be helpful. Two reasons. Because we were fiercely independent young women and had chosen the solo path for this adventure. So we were going to do it that way. The other reason is that we honestly didn't want to put out a group who had made the other choice, taking the path that they were hiring a trekking outfit to manage their adventure to Mount Kailash, providing all the logistics, transport, food, etc. We didn't think that that felt right to take their food. He asked multiple times and we kept saying, no thanks, we got it. In Tibetan culture, if you're not familiar with it, it is polite and expected to politely refuse food and beverage 3 times, and then you graciously accept on the 4th. I will admit that we, graciously or not, said, no thanks, we got it, many more than 3 times. Tenzing was persistent, and we finally acquiesced, and we accepted 1 bag of granola and 1 pound cake. And it's a good thing we did. We did find a truck to take us on that south road. This truck somehow found the one mud puddle in the Tibetan plateau in the desert and got stuck in it. You can see here that we pitched our tent about 100 yards from the truck, and we didn't have a lot to do except wait, journal, Jen, and ration our food. The food, most of which was what Tenzing gave us. We gave ourselves just a little circle of pound cake for lunch and 2 or 3 bites of granola for dinner. We didn't know how long we needed to make it last. When we saw a vehicle or 2 pass several miles away over a number of days, we would run wildly with our arms waving to get their attention in clunky hiking boots in deep sand and 15,000 feet. We were unsuccessful. As you can see here, we did find a truck. A truck did come close enough to us to get our truck out of the mud and rescue us in all effect. What I realized, of course, that my mindset was wrong in this moment at the base of Mount Kailash. That Tenzing, of course, was the expert. People were paying him to manage their adventure to Kailash and back safely. He knew the terrain, we didn't. He was offering help, and we kept saying, no, thank you, when we should have been saying, yes, please, how nice of you to offer. You know better, you're the expert. What I realized was that for most of my life, that my mindset was, I'll do it all by myself. I will take the hardest road possible, literally, in that story, and really had this idea that I had this badge all in my head, that I'll get this badge and this award because I did it all by myself. And I equated that with honor, resilience, and success. Now, it's not to say that that isn't a great way to go about many things and experiences and opportunities and some projects. I am very grateful that I have challenged myself and I've learned so much and gained confidence, but it's not always the best choice, right? So in this moment, I didn't make the best choice. I'm not sure what would have happened if we had not found a truck to get us out for a lot longer, or we had said no in the end to Tenzing's offer of food, right? So in this particular, maybe stark example, the collaborative, the team, the group approach was truly the only viable path to a successful outcome. Now, earlier I mentioned, again, that the world understands over time and across countries and cultures the value of teamwork. This is also backed up by scientific research. These are just a little bit from a healthcare study, really speaks to how collaboration, really the value of it leads to better problem solving, learning amongst each other, collective purpose, and innovation, all really amazing things that we all need. Other research from different sectors speak about smarter risk-taking, happier employees, and of course, a diversity of perspective. These things are critical for us in any time, but especially now in our world. I'd love for you to do two things. And before I ask you the two actions, think about both your personal life and your professional world, right? So the first request I have for you is to jot down some times where you have also said, no thanks, I got it, where you did not accept help when offered, or when you didn't proactively seek support from others. Can you imagine the process and or the outcome turning out a little bit better if you had said, yes, please, thank you, even just a little bit? The second task I'd like to ask you to do is to consider when you have not had a choice, when you've had to work in a group, when you've had to collaborate. What mindset did you bring to that moment? How did it serve you, others involved, and that actual task at hand? You know, I have two teenage boys and they come home from school pretty often saying, oh, Mom, another group project. I can feel their pain. It's not easy. And yet I say to them, buckle up, boys, because there's a lot more coming there. It's truly how we survive and thrive, working together and learning from one another. So when you're either the decision maker, again, at home or at work or in the community, about whether to go solo individually or the team approach on a project or task, etc., I'm offering you here 5 questions to help you make that decision. Think about what's the big idea of the project or the task. What's the desired outcome? Secondly, how feasible is this deadline? Is this truly something that one person, you or someone else, can manage, given workload, bandwidth, etc., or is it better suited for a group? What skills, tools, or other resources are needed and available? This could be budget, could be individual people, etc. When you think about these two approaches, solo versus team, how might those outcomes in the end differ from one another, and which is potentially better aligned to your desired outcome? And finally, how is success going to be measured? What are those success indicators, and is collaboration a key component of that? I've offered in the bonus materials after this webinar, I've built on these 5 questions to provide you with a very practical worksheet that will be helpful to you as you go forward in your work. And I will leave you with this final thought, that collaboration doesn't diminish your individual success. Instead, it elevates our collective triumphs. Thank you very much, and I'd like to pass the mic to Aomi now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the Bite-sized Brilliance speaker series. My name is Aomi Gomez, and I'm the founder of Elevate You, an organization dedicated to partnering with individuals and companies to help them achieve their next level of success. I do so by partnering with individuals for career coaching and collaborating with companies for keynote speaking, corporate training, as well as human capital management consulting. Prior to founding Elevate You, I was a human resources executive where I led talent development, talent management, talent acquisition, diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as corporate communications for organizations ranging from 800 million to 50 billion in revenue and 2,000 to 150,000 employees globally. The knowledge gleaned from my 16 years of HR experience across multiple different industries is at the core of what has allowed me to reach a broader network of individuals such as yourselves and the organizations that you work for through the work that I do via Elevate You. So thank you for joining us for our inaugural session today. The topic today, Power of I During Times of Challenge, was selected taking into consideration the many ups and downs many of us have been facing, especially over the past few years, and the possibility of challenges coming our way anytime in the near future or long-term future. Societal, political, economical, and organizational changes have been touching every aspect of our lives and the lives of those around us, demanding resilience and demanding adaptability, because despite these challenges, despite these changes, we are still expected to fulfill our responsibilities, we are still expected to perform, we are still expected to prevail and even prosper. I want to give you a tool to succeed when faced with challenging situation as a result of these changes. The tool that I want to share is a simple 6-step framework that will help you navigate through challenging situations, harnessing the power within you and embracing adaptability in both actions as well as your thinking. In order to launch on this 6-step journey, we first have to meet Vera. And Vera can be our neighbor, our friend, our sister, our colleague. It can be any one of us anytime. To give you a little bit of background about Vera, as the youngest in a family of 3 and the individual with the most career accomplishments, Vera, who is single, volunteered to be the primary caretaker of her mother when her mother was diagnosed with cancer a few months ago. Vera rose to being a senior manager fairly quickly. She was promoted every 2 years as a result of her superior skills, as well as her willingness to work 60-hour work weeks fairly regularly, as well as volunteering to pick up the slack left by others. Vera has been eyeing the promotion to director for over a year now. With this director level promotion, she will be managing her whole current team, but it requires coming to the office almost 5 days a week and also significant hours after the regular business day as well as during the weekends, because the team that she will be managing are in different time zones. They're offshore employees. However, the hiring manager for this position has shared with her that she has a very good chance of getting this promotion and that this role is handsomely compensated. As you would imagine, Vera is torn. She's torn between wanting to pursue her promotion and she's torn between wanting to allocate as much time needed to spend with her mother. She's not only torn, she is frustrated and she is sad. First step of the 6-step framework is accept. Accept what is happening or accept what has already taken place and especially accept the emotions we are feeling. Doing so will allow us to be free from denial and provide us the focus and clarity that is needed for us to take the next necessary steps. The sooner we accept, the less time we will be spending on realms of ambiguity, frustration, and confusion. Keep in mind that acceptance is the quiet revolution that sets us free. In Vera's case, Vera first needs to accept the predicament she is in and the emotions she is going through. She needs to allow herself time to process the frustration and the sadness that she's feeling so that she's going to be able to think clearly about the next steps that she needs to pursue. Once we accept, it is crucial to reflect in order to assess the situation with as much objectivity and as much intention as we can muster. Reflect, as you would imagine, is the second step of the 6-step framework. Reflect is the stage where you ask yourself, what did I do or what did I not do? What did I say or what did I not say that made me be in this position? In Vera's situation, if she reflects as objectively as possible and as intentionally as she could muster, she will realize that volunteering to be the primary caretaker of her mother from a time perspective as well as a financial perspective may not have been practical, and committing to spend as much time as she does at work currently is not practical, and committing or thinking about committing to spend even more time at work is not going to be practical at all, nor is it going to be healthy for her. Step 3 of the 6-step framework is to reinvent, to come up with a plan outside of your comfort zone and outside of what you have done before. Armed with the knowledge we have ascertained through purposeful reflection, reinventing sets the foundation to leaving the past behind and focusing on the future. In Vera's case, there are 3 elements that need to be completed or needed to be included in her reinvention plan. The first aspect is for her to have a conversation with her siblings about sharing the time and the financial responsibilities of her mom's medical visits and medical expenses. This will feel very unnatural to Vera, as she will start feeling that she's disrupting a sibling's family time, but it's a crucial step to maintain her well-being. And aspect number 2 that needs to be touched upon as a part of her reinvention plan is to have a conversation with the hiring manager to see if he's able to adjust the in-person aspect of the new role and assign a project leader who will report to Vera so that she can share the after-hours commitment with another individual. Vera's proposal can suggest a lower salary increase for herself so that added compensation could be provided for the project leader, enabling her to still obtain a raise and still obtain the promotion, but not require her to work too many hours after regular business hours. And aspect number 3 that needs to be touched upon in her reinvention plan is to have a conversation with her current manager, as she has not gotten the promotion yet. She needs to speak with her current manager about regularly working 60-hour work weeks, the scope of her role, and to see the possibility of sharing some of the work that she has on her plate with other members of her team who may have bandwidth. Now, for an individual who is used to going above and beyond all the time, taking these 3 steps and coming up with this plan to pivot will be very unnatural and will make her feel very uncomfortable. However, as I'm sure you would agree, these 3 steps are crucial to maintain her well-being. Step number 4 of the 6-step framework is to ignite. Ignite enthusiasm and belief around the new strategy, as it is this enthusiasm that will push one to implement the plan that they created. Vera needs to see the long-term benefits to her, her siblings, her current manager, and even the potential new manager and get strength from that to implement the new plan that she has created and the details of her proposal. Step number 5 of the 6-step framework is to implement the plan. As we all know, no seed will bear fruit unless we plant it. Once we define our end goal and a strategy to accomplish it, we need to overcome the inertia and go ahead and implement that plan. Vera needs to have the 3 conversations she planned and detail the proposal to her current manager, her siblings, as well as a potential future manager. Just like any new initiative, any new project, any new plan, once we implement it, the final step of the 6-step process is to refine that plan. Assessing our progress against our defined plan of action and refining it needs to be done regularly, especially since we have launched on a new path. Along the way, we will identify tweaks we need to make, actions we need to continue to do, and certain actions that we need to shy away from. Vera, too, will need to regularly assess the progress that she's making and make tweaks to her reinvention plan as needed. When she's refining, she might find out that the project leader actually needs a little bit more training, or that she's able to schedule all the medical appointments for her mom during the morning time, enabling her to be at meetings with the offshore employees in the evening times. Either ways, she needs to regularly assess how well her plan is going and make changes as needed. When you're going through challenging situations, accepting the emotions that you're going through or the situation that you are in, reflecting on what you did or what you didn't do to get yourself there, reinventing and coming up with a plan, igniting the enthusiasm to implement that plan, and implementing that plan and regularly refining it as you go along is not going to come easy. However, if there is one person who can do all this, that person is you. If you believe in the power of I and you generate the strength and courage to implement your plan, you will inch closer to that shore, whatever that shore might be looking like for each one of you. So believe in the power of I, because power of I is not arrogance. It's belief, it's confidence, it's the wind in our sails. So thank you so much for your engagement. If you would like to discuss this topic or a different topic, please feel free to contact me. I would love to hear from you. And without further ado, I'm passing on the microphone to my friend Jenny Milton.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Great job, ladies. My goodness, there are some great actionable tools and steps to help us strive and thrive in 2025. So now it's my turn. And the ladies call me the fear coach, and I'm excited to share some of my tools with you today. So in 2024, did you strive, thrive, or just simply survive? Did you strive for a goal? Is your business or life thriving? To be honest, for me, I felt like I only just survived. My name is Jenny Milton. And they call me Adrenaline Jen, because I have been into adrenaline-based sports all my life. I'm still blown away that I was the Australian kite surfing women's wave champion at the age of 48. And I'm proud to have scored second in the world at the Red Bull Ragnarok snow kite race and represented Australia in the World Championships of downhill mountain biking. But snow kiting is my favorite sport, and that's a combination of kite surfing and skiing for those of you who have never seen it before. As an extreme sports athlete who skis big mountains and kite surfs in huge waves, I thought that I had courage and I knew how to deal with fear. In fact, the universe has gifted me unique experiences that has set me up as a fear expert. Believe it or not, I've actually been charged by a polar bear. I've been caught in an avalanche, and I've been held down under pounding waves. All these high pressure situations expose me to such high levels of fear, and I can now share insights from my experiences from a really unique perspective. But in 2024, I experienced the most terrifying experience ever: brain surgery. For those of you who don't know what an aneurysm is, it's when the blood pressure blows out the walls of the arteries into the brain, sometimes to the point of rupture, which ends in a stroke. I'd been having headaches for about 5 months and they were getting worse. The doctors couldn't find anything wrong and they just kept prescribing morphine and other drugs. As a health fanatic, I didn't want to take them and I looked for alternative methods like massage and acupuncture, but nothing was working. Thanks to my physical therapist, he gave me a push to go back to the emergency room and ask for more diagnostics. A CT scan of the back of my head showed the problem: a large aneurysm at the back of my brain. I felt both grateful to have found it, but also terrified about the next steps. Whenever we experience a new fear, we have a tendency to have a natural fear response: fight, flight, or freeze. I would have loved to have run away from the hospital that day, but I had to face my fear in order to survive. We all experience fear on a daily basis. Some of us call it stress or anxiety, but the root cause of all these reactions is actually fear. So what's your current fear? A fear of failure or not being good enough? That's common. A fear of success or not being loved? These are all pressures that stop us from making progress. So are our lives really in danger, is the question we ask ourselves. When we feel fear, we often perceive it as a threat, triggering a primal fear response. Some people respond with fight, becoming angry and confrontational. Others, like me, experience flight, wanting to run away or escape as quickly as possible. Then there's freeze response, where we do nothing, leave the situation unchanged and make no progress at all. Lastly, there's fawn, where we appease others to diffuse the fear, often at the expense of our own goals. But what if we saw fear as a challenge instead of a threat? Who loves a challenge? I do. When we embrace fear as an opportunity, we can feel proud and even celebrate our courage. Taking on the challenge and moving forward creates an incredible sense of accomplishment. Finding courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And the afterbuzz is so much better than being stuck in that pool of fear. During my brain surgeries, I had to pull out all my mindset tools that had been second nature to me in my sports and break them down into actionable steps that I could follow. I'd love to share this tool with you today to help you overcome your fears that might be holding you back. I call it the fear formula. And I've turned fear into an acronym to remember the 4 steps to overcoming fears. The first letter, which is F, stands for forecasting. I love forecasting. Just like forecasting the wind and weather to do my sports, we can also forecast when we will feel fear or anxiety. Is there an imposter syndrome storm brewing as we start our new job? Is there a fear of failure hurricane on the horizon when we're getting ready to do our presentation tomorrow? If we can plan to bring an umbrella for the rainstorm, then we can also plan to bring a mindset strategy to be prepared for the high pressure fear that we are about to face. So forecasting turns the obstacles into opportunities. The next letter is E, and E stands for empower. We need to empower ourselves with the skills and the tools we need to face our fears. Now, my husband, that's him there skiing in the picture, and that's me behind in the orange jacket. My husband's a heli ski guide in Alaska. Now, that is a dangerous job, dealing with avalanches, crevasses, and injuries of clients. I'm always so amazed at how calm and composed the guides are when performing a rescue. Mountain guides prepare themselves with training for every scenario that could possibly go wrong, and they carry a huge backpack full of ropes and shovels and first aid to have everything they need. So when something goes wrong, they are ready because they've practiced it so many times before. So when we're thinking about fear, what could you do to practice, stimulate, or build your skills that would reduce your fears and bring you to a point of confidence? Knowledge is power and action builds strength. Now, after E comes A. A stands for adapt, and we need to adapt our mindset to deal with the fear or pressure. Many people tend to choose from a positive or a negative mindset, but there are so many more options. The options are endless. So let's get fun and creative. And when choosing our mindsets, do we need a warrior mindset to fight our battle? Do we need a superhero mindset to rescue ourselves or others? Do we need a mountain climber mindset to keep taking those steps up to the summit when times get tough? One of my favorites is the MacGyver mindset, which changes my mindset from a problem finder into a problem solver. And this one I learned from my brother. So Michael, that's my brother, he lost his leg to cancer when he was age 9, but went on to become the world's best one-legged skier, winning multiple gold medals in the Paralympics and setting world records in speed skiing, marathon running with crutches, and even triathlon. I've witnessed firsthand the mindset and the adaptability he needed to excel in his sports. He often asks people what they think he can't do with one leg. His answer used to be, I can't do hurdles or ballroom dancing. But as a celebrity on Dancing with the Stars, he now only has hurdles as his only hurdle in life. One of my favorite memories is watching my brother break the world speed skiing record in Les Arcs, France, the steepest speed skiing course in the world. And as he stood at the top of a 70-degree slope, he accelerated faster than a Formula One race car, reaching an incredible speed of 218.65 kilometers an hour, which for all my American friends is 132.75 miles an hour. This extraordinary feat earned him the world speed skiing record for athletes with a disability. Yet Michael is most proud of beating the two-legged Australian speed skiing record and making him the fastest Australian skier of all time and securing his place in the Hall of Fame. Now, if people with disabilities can adapt to achieve greatness, then we can too. There really are no excuses. When the going gets tough, the adaptable get going. Now, the last letter of the fear formula is R, which stands for repeat. Practicing, training, or repeating actions builds strength and confidence in our minds and muscles. We must face that uncomfortable action, celebrate our momentum, and then do it again and again and again to build resilience. We need to find a way to increase our fear tolerance, maybe on a daily basis. How about a cold water plunge or a cold shower or going live on social media? All these put us outside our comfort zone, but with practice, we will become more comfortable being uncomfortable, and our fear tolerance will actually increase and flow over into other situations in life that are causing us stress. Now, it wasn't my choice, but I also had the chance to repeat my fear. I've survived 3 brain surgeries this year, and with each one, my fear tolerance increased and reduced both the pressure of fear and also my high blood pressure. Through repetition, stamina turns fear into just another step. I've also strived to pivot my passions in life, and I'm now thriving as a new children's book author and sharing my stories and lessons of courage in books and on stages to audiences just like you. So, are you ready to try using the fear formula to face those fears that might be holding you back? I provided a workbook in the bonuses to help you figure out your formula. But let's make a pact to turn our pressure into progress in 2025. And I want you all to join me by holding your arms up in a strong man, strong woman pose. Come on, all do it. There we go. And repeat after me 3 times. I will strive to thrive in 2025. Let's do it again. I will strive to thrive in 2025. One more time. I will strive to thrive in 2025. My name is Jenny Milton. They call me Adrenogen, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentation today. Thank you so much, and I'm going to pass it back to Catherine.
Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. That was amazing. Thank you, Jenny. That was action-packed. Okay, we do have some time to answer a few questions. So before we get to that, though, we always have stuff. We have so much stuff. I can't even. This is all of the speakers and the sessions that we did. We would like to get some feedback from the folks who are here live. And if you're listening to the replay, the QR code will be active indefinitely. When you provide feedback, you will get the bonus packet that we've been talking about all evening. So all of the speakers curated either worksheets or pamphlets or workbooks. Jenny put together a lovely workbook for you to follow through on the actions that we all talked about. So it's a massive PDF. Be prepared. And I think it's just under the 5 MB limit, so it can actually reach your inbox. But it's full of actionable items that you can take forward into 2025. So that's our thank you for completing the survey and providing us with some feedback today. It'll help you go way deeper into the content that we talked about. And if you're watching this through the replay link, as I said, that QR code will be active indefinitely, and you will also get the bonus content. Thank you for joining us this evening.